Well, Radio Zindagi ke pyare listeners, you know, whenever this sound comes on, तो फिर we are definitely talking about the Attorney on Air show. जी हाँ, because we will be talking to Shah Peerally. अभी आपको पता ही है that he is the founder and the president of this amazing law group, जिसके बारे में आप हमेशा सुनते तो रहते हैं, पर आपको पता नहीं है कि they are doing amazing job. और इसीलिए तो कभी भी अगर आपको लगता है कि you need somebody in your life जो आपको help करे in your immigration situation, तो you know that he is the person. जी हाँ, he is the managing attorney of the Shah Peerally Law Group, PC Newark, California, and is a member of the American Immigration Law Association as well as the State Bar of California. You know, आपको पता है कि कभी-कभी आप कोई भी advocate से मिलते हैं who are not very passionate and you really do not feel confident to talk to them or to go ahead with them. But this is not the case with Shah because he is very, very passionate about what he does. और इसीलिए तो कोई भी अगर civil right, human right या फिर social action, social services, ये सब के बारे में अगर आप परेशान हैं, you need some immigration help, then you know that he is the person to approach to because he is very passionate about what he does. इसीलिए तो he actually gained a lot of experience in the political and legal system in the US. He formed a law group to work on the causes that he feels most ardent about. ये जो law group है ना, the Peerally Law Group, they actually focus on immigration law with an emphasis on employment-based immigration and helps clients all over the US. तो इसीलिए अगर आप ये शो सुन रहे या फिर देख रहे हैं Facebook लाइव में, तो आपको पता है कि you can definitely give us a call. 510-770-1550 है हमारा नंबर. पर अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं, you want to know more about what he does, what are the areas that he's working on, जरूर चेक करें peerallylaw.com. तो चलिए सबसे पहले वेलकम करते हैं Shah Peerally को. Hello Shah, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Rini. Good morning to all the listeners. Thank you for the nice intro. I apologize today working from home, so I wanted to do live today, and we have been doing live on radio, but from now on we'll try our best to do also live on the Facebook channel. And also you will be able to watch this again later on our YouTube channel. Hopefully we'll upload that on attorneyonair.com or the YouTube channel youtube.com/attorneyonair. So Rini, can you hear me properly?
Oh, you are like loud and clear. So
Perfect. So before I start anything I'm going to tell you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. And this is the chapter from the group, and we're going to as much as possible about H-1B because it is opening, right? The lottery is opening on March 1st, which is 1 month from tomorrow, and then it will be closing on March 17th. The way the system works now, you have a lottery system. You have to put your name into that, and if you are selected, they will let you know probably by April, and you can file your H-1B. Once you file it, you should get some kind of acknowledgement, and then once you get that, then you will be able to proceed with filing your H-1B itself. And if you need help, our office is here, 510-742-5887. And after you file it, by the way, Rini, then we will get results unless you file it in the premium around August and sometimes September. Some go further than that. So you have to be patient. And even if it gets approved, October 1st is the date that the H-1B kicks in. If you're outside the country, you can still get your stamping to come to the United States like 1 month beforehand, and then you come to the United States. Now, if you're inside the United States, you're moving from a student visa, you're on F1, and you have a spouse or children on F2, it is important to also file the H4 visa once you get the approval, so that they don't go out of status on October 1st automatically. So it is very, very important. People should know that, because otherwise it becomes an issue that it's not hard to fix, but it becomes more difficult to deal with at a later stage. Any questions on the H-1B, Rini?
No. I believe that there has been a lot of things going around in this immigration field, and people are actually being scared because they don't know what is coming, or फिर इतना ज़्यादा layoffs यहाँ पे you know about that. So yes, just I would rather give it to you because I know you have important things to discuss today. So फिर yes, the microphone to you.
What you brought up, because I'll say 1 over the 2 calls. I get a lot of consultations per day, by the way. You can also call for a consultation. I do almost like maybe 8, an average of 5 to 8 consultation a day, out of which I'll say almost 40% of it are people who have been laid off. And people who 1 week I talk to them, everything is fine. Suddenly the week after that, when they call me for a follow-up or something, I get the news that they have been laid off. But the good news is that most of the people I've spoken to, 1 week or 2 weeks later, they are getting rehired. So what is happening, you're seeing big companies or medium companies laying off, but small companies are hiring because they need those people. Ultimately, what is happening, people are going to consulting companies, what we call the temp agencies kind of, and they are getting hired there, and then they are getting placed ultimately sometimes with the same companies. Unfortunately, that's how the system works, and that's the sad part. So, but having said that, yes, there's not only a lot of fear, I get the feeling that a lot of people don't really want to stay in America right now. For whatever reason, as soon as they're getting the chance, they're going back. People who get their green card, first question, how do I stay outside for a couple of years? And that is something we can discuss in a few minutes. And people who got their citizenship are staying years and years outside and then coming back only when it's necessary, or they have their own business and things like that. So one of the things I'm seeing is, which is sad, is America is no longer that attractive like it used to be. Having said that, you still have a batch of other people who didn't have a chance to be here. So newcomers are willing to come. People who have been here 4 years and suffered, didn't get their green card because of the backlog, they are the one who want to go back, and I understand them. Some people have been here for years and years. So a few points there, because just because you're going back doesn't mean your green card stops, by the way, right? So if there's a process, you are in advance parole, you can stay outside, and when the dates become current, you can come back, but make sure you follow all the rules of AC-21, etc., etc. And if you are planning to do that, give us a call. We can do a consultation. 510-742-5887. So that's one thing, and surprisingly, many clients I've been spoken to in the past who were very, very keen to come to America now, they are not interested. They are not even interested. If they are going to leave India, many of them are going to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and that's very bad for our country, right? We depend on those immigrants. The entire Silicon Valley depends on those immigrants. And as you know, the Eagle Act didn't go through. And just like I said, unfortunately, a lot of people ask me that, and we did the show on that. Really, remember, I said, don't count on it because I've never seen it happen. The only people it profits to are, unfortunately, those lobby groups. They take advantage of that. Although they're probably trying their best, they know in their heart the chances of it going through is very, very low. And now it's worse than ever because the House have changed hands, and I don't think they're very interested. Now, the problem that we are having with Biden administration is not coherent, it's not even consistent, and I don't even know if he will get elected for a second mandate. That's my feeling at this point. And some people were telling me he's not even going to run. So the question will Kamala Harris, but there will probably be a primary and another candidate will be chosen. Now, the other side of the coin is that we might see Trump coming back. And that is going to change the whole dynamic. At this point, I don't see any other candidate really standing up to Trump if he wants to run, because he himself also doesn't seem too keen. So if he comes back, there's a big chance he will be elected. And that means we're going to go back to 2016 and up, where we had all those issues. 2017 and up, we're going to see issues like strict borders, etc. But maybe Trump now has learned a little bit. If he comes back, he will change. Well, the reason a lot of people might be voting Trump is the Ukraine war, right? If Trump comes, there's a chance that this war will stop because he's in good terms with Putin, and I'm pretty sure he will make a deal. That's the only good side of the story. But immigration-wise, I don't see good things happening. There will be ban at many countries like he did before, and that's the part that everybody's scared of. But having said that, a lot of people are trying to cross the border also, but people on legal immigration, I get the feeling there is a kind of a tone down, especially people who are here. Unless they are getting an EB1 or national interest waivers, many companies are not hiring. Most companies, like you're mentioning, really are doing layoffs. And once they start doing layoffs, they cannot even file for the green card for 6 months. And it's a lot of things that we're going to see. And the visa bulletin retrogressing is not very encouraging. And most of our people in the Silicon Valley or in the IT industry are from India. And if the Indians are not happy, well, Silicon Valley is not going to be happy because we're very dependent on that. So I cannot really predict what's going to happen, but one thing I know, we are in a very, very weird times. At this point, I will call on people to pray, to save America, to save all of us. And by the way, I didn't have a chance. In the past week, we had so many shootings and so close to home, right?
I know.
And that's the part that is sad. Half Moon Bay is kind of get me emotional when I think about it because Half Moon Bay is next door, right?
I know.
And we have a lot of people even listening to us there right now. So my heart goes to all of them, and I didn't follow after that what happened because I can't. It's getting depressing, to be honest. I am just focusing on the immigration and the news. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to get more and more positive because I think at this point that's what we need. But having said that, being positive doesn't mean we should not take our precautions. So stay safe, and people should know that America is great, but it has its own issues, right? We lived here for ages, came in the 1990s. Things were very, very different at that time. And now, as things evolve, certain years, the first 2000, in the beginning, things were great. And then, well, not great, we had September 11, etc. But it was still good till probably 2012, 13, 14, things started going down. And since then, we have only seen really kind of the bad side of America, and more people are not trusting us. More and more countries are not trusting us, and we are reaching a point where it's a turning point for America. Either we change and we make it, or we're going to break. And that's the sad part. That's what kind of worries me. Having said that, America is still the land of opportunities, right? We can't deny that because we still contain the top probably 500 Fortune 500s of the world, and it is still a land where you can come with nothing and make something out of yourself. I'm a good example of that. When I came to America, I had nothing, literally nothing, right? Now sometimes not even a place to stay, but things do better when you work hard in America. That's the thing. The question is, what do we define as working hard? Is it working smart, working hard? It's a combination, right? So I'm going really out of the topic purely of immigration today because there are many social issues that are going to affect us, right? The visa bulletin is going to get affected by this, and also H-1B, etc. So you need to be ready for all this. And if you need help with H-1Bs, give us a call. 510-742-5887. Any question, really?
Yes, sir. Actually, I was listening to whatever you are talking. So I have a two-part question. Number one, like after somebody gets laid off, what is the time frame that they can still stay here and search for jobs?
That's a good question. This is something that if you're on H-1B, the first 60 days is a grace period. Not only you can stay, you can transfer your H-1B to another company without having to leave. After the 60 days, you can still file it, but you have to leave and come back. Now, there are a few things you can do if you're not getting a job. You can go back to school, for example, get an I-20, and we can shift you to a student visa, and that will take 1 year to change that your status. So within that 1 year, you can stay here, and you don't even have to pay school until you get it approved, right? So that's one thing. The other option, if you want just a temporary time to wrap up things, you can also try a B1, B2 visa. We just got a bunch of them approved because they understand that this thing is happening really fast. But there's another thing which is very interesting right now. If you have an I-140 approved, you can get something called a compelling circumstances EAD. What is a compelling circumstances EAD is that you prove that you really need that work permit. And in order for you to get that work permit is an EAD, Employment Authorization Document, that's the short EAD. And while this is filed, if we file it within the 60 days, you can stay here until it gets approved. And they told us, well, from what we are getting as information, it will get approved pretty fast. And it's allowable for 1 year. So that buys you 1 year until you find another job or things like that. So there are a few options, but in order for us to assess your options, give us a call, because some people qualify for U visas, for example, for asylum, for things, you name it. So call a good lawyer, 510-742-5887, and we will be glad to help you. Those are the options. Unfortunately, at the same time, everybody I talk to end up by getting another job within 60 days. So that means there is some kind of parallel things going on. We have layoff on one side, but we also have hiring on the other side. And those two are kind of meeting somewhere, because many of the clients I've spoken to, consultations I mean, not only they're getting one job offer, some are even getting 2, 3 of them, and they're filing 2, 3 H-1Bs. So these are things that you can actually kind of do if you want to do. So give us a call. We'll be glad to help you. Any questions on that? I don't know how much time we are left, Rini. I'm not having access to time.
We have around 8 minutes of time. Yeah. So I just wanted to tell all our listeners that I know that this time is, really unprecedented, and a lot of you are fearing that you might get laid off. But जब भी आपको ये लगे ना, please talk to a lawyer, because as Shah was telling, I had no idea that there are options. और साथ ही साथ मुझे लगता है कि आप में से भी बहुत सारों को ये पता ही नहीं है कि there are so many options. तो फिर पैनिक मत कीजिए. Rather than that, just talk to Shah. Like you can get a lot of information about him in PeerallyLaw.com. I would personally ask you to watch the YouTube videos that Shah posts really, frequently. They come really handy. So please check out on the YouTube. I think Attorney on Air is the handle that you can check over there. And like lines are open. अगर अभी के अभी आपको कोई भी सवाल पूछना है, you can call us here, and the number is 510-770-1550. पर आप जैसे कि शाह ने कहा कि you can actually fix an appointment later on as well. तो फिर चलिए बातें करते हैं शाह से, because this topic is so interesting and so timely. Because Shah, you were actually telling something like after somebody gets laid off for another 6 months, they cannot file for green card. So I just wanted a bit of know-how about that if somebody has lost a job, then he can stay here legally for 1 month, as he said. And मान लो कि he didn't get another job offer. So can he still apply for a green card?
Well, the job offer is not necessary in some kind of green card. There are 2 kinds of green cards. In employment base, that you don't need an employer. For one, it is EB-1A for people of extraordinary abilities. Mm-hmm. These are self-petitions, and we do a lot of them, so feel free to reach out. And then there are national interest waivers. National interest waivers, unfortunately, are EB-2s, and if your dates are not current, you're going to have issues. But for people who already have an adjustment of status, an I-485 form file, they might be able to stay based on a pending case, but ultimately they have to do an AC-21, Supplement J to move the case to another company. Now, it's not 1 month they can stay. They can actually stay for 2 months under the grace period, Plus, if they file another petition, even if it is not approved, as long as it's filed within, I would call it timely file, that is within the grace period, they will be eligible to actually get what we call a period of authorized stay while the case is going on. So there are ways to work it out, but you have to do it in a smart way. Don't, and then also I will keep repeating that. One of the things that I'm getting a lot, there are some people who are writing a lot of nonsense again on forums, and even their YouTube channel. Don't listen to them. They're just scaring you, because that's how they make money, right? By scaring you, by making your life. And those agents actually sitting in India getting people slots, they are charging some, I heard, I don't know if it is true, $5,000-$6,000 just to get you a date.
Oh my God.
I know people want to get an appointment, but be careful, because there are many crooks out there, and you know how it is in our home countries. We can't really trust, unfortunately, and that's going to create a lot of problems. So there are options out there, okay? It's just a matter of finding it. It's a lot of times people right now, when I talk to them, many of them are very, very scared, very desperate, borderline depression because of the situation. But you have to remember one thing. You made it so far in America, right? And you have to be proud of yourself. We're talking about billions of people who want to come here, and they can. And you came here. So get the good advice. If you have to go back, you have to go back. There's no choice. But 90% of cases, I don't want to put a percentage, but most cases we are able to find a way to keep you here. So don't just give up, and don't go and read and try to research. Well, although it's good to research, but the solutions require someone to think for you. And for someone to think for you, they have to know the ins and outs of the law. And not only that, they also have to be licensed, right? Because a lot of those guys that are sitting on those forums, they're not licensed at all. So if they make a mistake, they don't really care. So you have to be careful who you talk to. And a licensed attorney is very important. I've been licensed now in California for 19 years, going on 20. So I know a little bit about it. And I know, not a little bit, but pretty much a lot about immigration now. I've done the most difficult cases probably people will imagine. I've defended people who were almost going to get into Guantanamo. So I know the whole 9 yard there. So it's very stressful what we are going through right now, but trust me, we have gone through worse than this in the past. Right now, the problem that we are having, we just came out of COVID. The world has changed completely since then. So we are already under fear. We came out of one fear, now another thing hits. But plus we have the floods, the climate change, you name it, tornadoes, cyclones. It's all around the world, right? So it is scary. Plus the war, right? And I don't know if I missed any other things. We almost got the core of the earth stopped spinning, you name it. So all this stuff are scaring people. And I'm a lawyer, I'm pretty strong in terms of really dealing with difficulties, but when I see this piling up, I start getting worried myself. Having said that, if you worry, you stress, it's not the solution, right? It may be easy to say when you're not going through this, but trust me, I became a lawyer because I want to put possibly a lot of help with immigration, and that's how I learned it. So I learned it even before I became a lawyer, and then I just plug in when I became a lawyer, right? So you need to make sure that you just don't give up and then say, you know what, I'm done, I'm leaving, because someone else will take your place. They will jump on that. And you will lose your seat and you won't be able to come back. I know many people who go and then 5-6 years later they call me, they say they want to come back. I can get them back, but you lost 5-6 years. But at the same time, very hard. Look at other avenues like Canada, New Zealand, Germany, you name it. So don't be limiting yourself. But the news today, Rini, I think we have another 2-3 minutes to go.
No, we are, I think like we just hit the time. So, yes.
Sam, thank you so much, Dan. We'll be back next week. It's still passionate today. Thank you, Rini. We'll be back next week, same time. Check our website and our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much, Shah. Or yes, listeners, I just want to tell you, like with some people like Shah, you never understand when the time is flying. So yes, thank you so much for being so passionate. It really matters a lot to the community, Shah. And Radio Zindagi listeners, अगर आपको लगता है कि you might be in that situation where you need help, then you will always go and choose somebody who is very positive and who knows a lot, very experienced and very passionate about what he does. तो फिर yes, very experienced. As you heard, it's like around 20 years of experience for Shah Peerally. तो जरूर चेक करें peerallylaw.com and एक अपॉइंटमेंट फिक्स करें 5107425887. Thank you so much, Shah, for your time and hope to see you next week.
Thank you.